Have you looked through social media and you saw your friends posting about their Christmas and what their husband did for them or bought for them, and it brings this deep sadness? That's not where a relationship is at with you and your husband. He's either sometimes unaware of your needs, or maybe doesn't know what to do, or maybe he ignores your needs. But what does that leave you? You still want to enjoy this holiday season. Well, I got you covered. Today, we're going to talk about your plan to ensure your needs during this Christmas season is taken care of.
Hey friend, do the daily demands of family life leave little time for self-care? Are you losing yourself in the process of caring for others? Are you ready to make self-care and healthy boundaries a natural part of your day while embracing your roles as a wife and mom? Well, I'm so glad you're here. I'm Christina, married 17 years to a neurodiverse man, mom of 3 neurodiverse kids, and many more roles. Welcome to the Moms and Neurodiverse Families podcast. Get ready to begin your self-care journey. Grab your planner and listen in as we take another small step towards a peaceful, healthier you.
When our last child was born, it brought such joy to have our little sweet pea in our family, but also the complexity of life increased. I remember trying to figure out how to nurse and at the same time make sure my other two didn't pulverize each other as they were fighting over toys or fighting for my attention. It was a season of life where I was just thankful that I had somewhat clean clothes on and trying to function. And honestly, it was overwhelming for my spouse as well. And this is not new news. This happens to many families when they have young children and both parents are at their limits. And there's times when the husband will forget or at last minute will remember about special events such as birthdays or Christmas. When you add the complexity of neurodiversity, it increases by tenfold from my perspective. And these seasons of life go much longer, and it can be difficult when you're in a relationship, and usually in relationships, 2 people are wanting to be together, and therefore each person is concerned with the other person's needs and wants, and are working to meet that in a loving and serving way. But when you throw in autism or any of the other neurodivergence diagnoses into the mix, there can be difficulties in this. So whether you're in a season in life where your needs are unseen, your spouse is not even aware of that you have those needs, you could be experiencing the bystander effect, which best way to explain this is that your spouse sees that you have needs, wanting to do something, but doesn't know what to do. So they stand on the side and they're in this stuck spot. They care for you, but they don't know how to do it. Or maybe it's misunderstood. Their perspective is that, well, I'm okay not celebrating my birthday. I'm fine with it. So therefore you must be okay with it. Not having that understanding that people have different perspectives. Or it could be this last category, which is so hard. They're specifically being ignored. He can see your needs, he knows you have needs, and he intentionally ignores them. Each one of these categories has their unique pain. My goal today is to give you a plan for yourself. We need a plan for yourself, for me, when we have these moments, because why? Waiting for another person in our relationship, in a mutual relationship, when you're waiting for that reciprocal, caring, loving, serving, back and forth in a relationship to happen, it can be very complex in neurodivergent relationships. And the reason why is that the person who's neurodivergent, their mindset, there's different terms that are used, but basically they're not aware of other ways or methods or viewpoints of life. And oftentimes the assumption is the way that they're thinking about it is really the only way. The concept that if you want to be in a relationship with someone else, therefore your radio needs to be tuned into their channel so that you're picking up their station and you're hearing the words that they're saying. That can be a challenging concept. And it is a long-term process to help your spouse to understand what your needs are, for them to understand that they are valid, even though they're different from their own. And for you to understand also their needs for quiet, for solitude. There is a back and forth here. I try to be very objective in these episodes in that it does go both ways. Just as your spouse would want you to be understanding when they are overwhelmed and they need time to think, when they need time to process, when they need quiet so their mind and their sensory overload can decrease, that same care and love needs to be applied to you. And sometimes it can be forgotten that how much energy you are spending to understand their needs, that does not come back towards you. Again, this is a marathon when we're trying to help our spouses to understand this and not a sprint. So the change, the growth happens slowly over time, which makes it sweet in some ways, because when you see change happen, we measure by millimeters. We don't measure by feet. We measure by millimeters and centimeters, and we see that small growth. It's almost like that seed in the dirt. And when you look at things, the micro changes, you see change differently. And when you realize that, wow, my spouse did X, Y, and Z and was showing intent, might not be the ongoing trend, but there will be moments of increasing frequency that he does that. That can mean a lot to you. So, but in the meantime, what do you do? What do you do while you're waiting for your spouse to understand what it means to be in a relationship and to be reciprocal in the love and in the serving? Or what do you do when your spouse doesn't really care that much about your needs? And I say this, I'm so sorry you're in this situation. That is so hard. I'm so sorry that you are in that season of life. And I'm not a marriage counselor, so my focus is on you right now and ignoring your needs until there is growth, until there is change. That is going to lead to sadness and despair and hopelessness. And depending on where you're at in your relationship, you may be there already or on the crux of it. So we want to do our part in looking to meet our needs when the other person's not able to now or unwilling to. Now, in this whole concept here, I'm talking again from a biblical perspective. So therefore, I'm not saying emotional affairs or having affairs or things like that nature. I'm talking about how do we meet our needs in a way that still respects our relationship, but we don't ignore ourselves. So we talked about like why this is important, like how we're going to do it. I'm going to give you this basic framework and you play with it as much as you want to. You might want to grab a post-it note or come back and listen to this portion. But there's 5 things that we're going to work on. So first, we are going to find a book, maybe it's an audible book or a movie, something you enjoy listening or watching. Or if you are more on the crafty side, there's this yarn you've been waiting to use, or you like needlepoint, or maybe it's scrapbooking, but there's some type of activity that would be enjoyable. Pick out what that would be. Again, books are great, audible, movies, especially Christmas movies. But I have a watercoloring book from Emily, I think it's Emily Lex, that I have that was given to me by my spouse. There's different things you can do, but you're finding some type of enjoyable activity. That's step 1. Step 2, you're going to check out your pantry. And you're going to see, do you have your favorite tea? Maybe you're a coffee drinker. And so you're looking for a fun coffee creamer that you normally wouldn't buy. This time of year, you're like, I'm going to get peppermint, or maybe it's gingerbread, eggnog, or there's a special beverage that you enjoy and a little snack. You're going to check your pantry, like number 2, it's checking your stuff. What do you have for like a little treat for yourself? Number 3, we're going to decide where you're going to spend your time. Like what's the location? And you're going to have a backup location. And this is the reason why I have done this before for different reasons. Either the location I was going to use, there was someone else who was in that area, like in the living room. They fell asleep on the couch and I wasn't able to use it. And I had to use a backup location. So we have to be flexible here because there's so many complexities we're dealing with in our families. I've even gotten to the point where I've used the car. I pulled the car out of the garage and I started it up and I hung out in the car. So that's getting pretty resourceful at that point. But the point is, we don't want to have roadblocks stopping you from taking your time. Because this happens, right? We have these plans, these ideas. When you hit enough resistance, you just say, oh, forget it. Why do I even try? This always happens. And I mean, the negative thought process begins taking over, and that does not help. So we're going to load things up on our side. So again, number 3, where are you going to spend this time, and have a backup location? And if we have to, it's going to be in the car, in the driveway. You're still getting some time to yourself. Okay, number 4, this won't work if you're in the car possibly. Have your favorite candle, or maybe your favorite essential oil with a diffuser. Or if you're a potpourri person, have something that adds that ambiance, that adds that extra, the smell and that light. Maybe for you, it's being by the Christmas tree and enjoying the lights, and reading by the light of the Christmas tree can be great, or watching a movie by the Christmas tree. Or if you're in your bedroom, or maybe you're like, Christina, I have to go hide into a bathroom. Okay, sweetie, the bathroom it is. You're grabbing a bunch of pillows and blankets, and you're finding a corner, and you're getting yourself comfy. We're going to find a way, right? We're going to find a way to make this work out. But you have, in that situation, if you're in the bathroom, then, you're having your favorite candle maybe on the counter, but you're having this, trying to create this atmosphere that is focused on your needs. Finally, number 5, you need to select a time that you will take the self-care moment. Hopefully, by moment, I mean an hour or so or more. And also, you're going to select a backup time. Again, because of the complexities of neurodivergent families, dealing with autism, ADHD, meltdowns happen at the most inopportune time. And I don't want you to be in a situation of, why do I even try? Like, nope, you have a backup plan. So think about it. Like, you have a location, you have 2 locations at least, and then you have 2 different times that you can at least do it. And the goal is that you are ensuring that your needs are taken care of. Bonus here is, this is the beauty of it, is that it is simple. What I'm talking about here, most of these items you probably already have around your house. Because I'm very cognizant that some of you are in very tight financial straits because of the challenges in your family. So keeping it simple is necessary. But the act of planning this out, the act of looking forward to doing this, and you have these backup plans, like, okay, even if this goes wrong, and if so-and-so has a meltdown, or if this doesn't go right, I have a backup plan. That develops resilience in you, but also that looking forward to that enjoyment, that's so great for your mental health. So that's the other part of this that is helpful. And that's why I don't want to feed into like, oh no, didn't work out again. Like, nope, let's find these backup plans that we have to do. And sometimes I've had to go to like backup plan number 3 because there was just so much going on, so much difficulty. But the harder our lives are, the greater the need is to take care of ourselves. There is just, it's needed. You cannot keep providing for other people and keep denying yourself. Now I want you to ask you this question. What would be the impact on your mind and on your heart and your health if you invested this time? Whether you listen to this right now during Christmas time, or maybe you're listening and it's March, and maybe where you're at, March can be sometimes a not fun month. It can be cold, it can be dreary. Whatever time of year you're listening to this, what would it be, the impact, if you took this time on your mind and on your heart during this difficult season? My guess is that it would give a little bit of enjoyment, a little bit of the spark that maybe you haven't had before. As a reminder, we are doing this because this takes care of our need, but also it gives more margin and more time as your spouse understands what it means to be in a reciprocal relationship, mutually concerned for each other and each other's concerns. Or again, if they're, as Dr. Jim Wilder and Dr. Stephanie Holmes has talked about, their relational circuits are turned off and they're not even thinking about the relationship. This takes care of your needs so that you don't wither down and that you are able to make decisions in the future of how to handle these challenges. I would love to hear what you decide to do. Seriously, I would love to hear this. I would get a hoot out of hearing about your little self-care night that you decide to do to take care of yourself. And what's the impact of it? Remember, every small step that you take to say no to meeting everyone else's needs and say yes for yourself allows you to be a better woman and allows you to be the type of wife and mother you want to be. Hey, thank you for joining me today. I pray this episode gave you encouragement to take one small step. If so, please leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts to help other women find this show. By the way, if you're loving this conversation and want more encouragement like this, join my email list at bit.ly/myselfcare. That is bit.ly/myselfcare. I have a planner launching soon that will help you put all this into action in your own life. I look forward to chatting with you again next week for another episode.